There is a fire inside you that is waiting to break free, a power you have been hiding for far too long. Every day, you let life dictate your choices, your emotions, and even your dreams. You soften your edges to make others comfortable, and in the process, you slowly dim your own light. The world rewards strength, not softness. And today, this is the moment where you decide that enough is enough. It's time to stop being soft. It's time to claim the strength, confidence, and power that has always been yours, waiting silently beneath the layers of fear, doubt, and hesitation. Think about the times when you held back, the opportunities you didn't take, the words you didn't speak, the dreams you pushed aside because you were worried about being judged, about disappointing someone, or about stepping out of line. Every soft decision you made felt safe at the time, but safe is not what will create the life you are meant to live. Safe never changes the world. Safe never builds empires. Safe never earns respect. Softness might bring temporary comfort, but it steals your potential piece by piece until you forget what you are truly capable of. Now imagine a different version of yourself, a version that stands firm in every situation, a version that speaks her mind without hesitation, a version that faces challenges head on and refuses to bow to fear or uncertainty. That woman is not a fantasy. She already exists inside you. She has been waiting quietly for you to awaken her, and she will not be silenced anymore. She will not settle for excuses. She will not allow anyone, including yourself, to put limits on what she can achieve. The truth is, the world will test you. It will try to break you, push you around, and tell you that you are too soft, too weak, or too emotional. And the reason it does this is simple. Soft people are easy to control. Soft people are easy to ignore. Soft people give away their power without even realizing it. But strong women take what they deserve. They set boundaries. They demand respect. They move forward when others hesitate. They rise even when everything around them is falling apart. And the moment you decide to stop being soft, the world will notice. Your energy will change. Your confidence will radiate. Doors that once seemed closed will begin to open. People who underestimated you will start to respect you. And the life you always dreamed of, one filled with freedom, power, and purpose, will start becoming real. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what it takes to stop being soft. You will learn how to take control of your mind, emotions, and actions. You will discover the strategies to build strength, confidence, and resilience that no one can take away from you. And if you watch till the end, you will walk away with a mindset so sharp, so unshakable, that nothing and no one can hold you back anymore. It starts with awareness. You must recognize every moment where softness has held you back, every decision where you prioritized comfort over courage, every time you stayed quiet when you should have spoken. Awareness is the first step because you cannot change what you do not see. And once you see it, you can begin to break free. You can begin to step into the woman who is bold, fearless, and unstoppable. You can begin to own your power, Softness is not weakness if it is chosen, but when it is forced upon you, when it controls you without your consent, it becomes a chain. And chains are meant to be broken. You have the strength to break them. You have the courage to rise above them. And you have the right to demand more from yourself and from life. The woman you are meant to be is strong. She is confident. She is resilient. She is unstoppable. And the journey to her begins the moment you decide to stop being soft. The fire inside you is ready. It is waiting for a spark. And that spark is your decision, your choice, your promise to yourself that from this moment forward, you will no longer shrink. You will no longer apologize for taking up space. And you will no longer let fear dictate your actions. Every word you say, every action you take, every thought you embrace from this point on can either feed that fire or smother it. Choose to feed it. Choose to rise. Choose to be strong. This is the first step, and it will not be easy. Nothing worth achieving ever is, but it will be worth it. By the time you reach the end of this journey, you will not recognize the person you were before. You will stand taller, think sharper, and act with a confidence so fierce that life itself will bend in response. Now is the time. The fire is inside you. The woman you were meant to be is waiting, and the world is waiting to see her rise. Softness is often misunderstood. Many believe it is a sign of kindness, compassion, or emotional depth. But the truth is, when softness is uncontrolled, it becomes a weakness that keeps you small. It hides your power, dilutes your confidence, and makes you bend to the will of others. Being soft should never mean sacrificing your boundaries, your dreams, or your self-respect. Yet, far too many women let life shape them into people who are easily swayed, too afraid to speak up, and quick to forgive what should never be tolerated. Softness becomes a habit when fear governs your decisions. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of confrontation. These fears whisper in your ear every time you hesitate. They tell you it's easier to smile and nod than to assert yourself. They tell you it's safer to stay quiet than to risk being disliked. And slowly, almost without noticing, these habits form a cage. The softer you allow yourself to become, the less control you have over your life. Psychology shows that when people constantly seek approval, their brain releases temporary comfort chemicals, making them feel safe. But that safety is an illusion. It is a trap that convinces you that being soft, compliant, and pleasing is the path to happiness. In reality, the opposite is true. Strength brings freedom. Confidence brings respect. Boundaries bring peace. Softness, when uncontrolled, keeps you stuck in a life designed by others, not by you. The first step to change is honesty with yourself. Admit where softness has held you back. Admit the times you didn't speak your truth, didn't fight for what you deserved, or let fear decide for you. This is not to shame you, but to awaken you. Awareness is the key. The moment you recognize that softness has been a silent thief of your power, you reclaim control. You begin to see where courage is needed, where boundaries must be drawn, and where your strength must shine. Being strong does not mean abandoning compassion. It does not mean losing empathy or becoming harsh. True strength is balance. It is the ability to care deeply while remaining unshakable. It is choosing yourself when it matters most. It is saying enough to anyone or anything that seeks to diminish you. And once you embrace this truth, once you realize that softness is a choice, not a requirement, your life begins to shift. You start to stand taller, think clearer, and act with intention rather than fear. The woman who refuses to be soft in weakness is unstoppable. She understands her worth, knows her boundaries, and refuses to settle for less than she deserves. She does not apologize for her strength, because strength is her natural state. And when you embrace this truth within yourself, nothing in the world can hold you back. Every time you choose softness over strength, there is a cost. It may not show immediately, but over time it accumulates, quietly shaping your life. Opportunities slip through your fingers because you were too afraid to assert yourself. Relationships suffer because you tolerated what should never have been accepted. Your voice, your opinion, your desires, everything that defines you gets pushed aside to make others comfortable. Softness may feel safe, but safety comes at the price of your potential, your respect, and your freedom. When you let softness control you, people start to take you for granted. They test your limits because they sense you will not push back. They speak to you in ways they wouldn't dare with someone who stands firm. Life begins to dictate your actions instead of you directing your own path. You begin to settle for less than you deserve because it feels easier than facing confrontation or discomfort, and every compromise chips away at your confidence, leaving a hollow version of yourself, someone who could have been unstoppable but chose comfort instead. Softness also affects your self-perception. When you constantly avoid challenges, fear judgment, or suppress your desires, you begin to believe you are weak. You start questioning your capabilities, doubting your worth, and shrinking in ways that are invisible to the world, but deeply felt by you. Psychology shows that repeated avoidance creates neural patterns in the brain, making it harder to act courageously over time. The more you choose softness, the stronger this pattern becomes, and the more difficult it is to break free. But understanding the cost is not meant to instill guilt. It is meant to ignite action. Once you see the impact of your softness, you gain the clarity to choose differently. You realize that the discomfort of standing up, speaking out, and asserting yourself is nothing compared to the pain of a life unclaimed, a voice unheard, and a potential unrealized. Every act of strength, no matter how small, begins to chip away at the chains that softness has built. The price of being soft is high, but the reward of choosing strength is even higher. Respect, freedom, confidence, and purpose are not given. They are claimed, and the moment you decide that you are done paying the cost of weakness, your life shifts. You start to step into situations with authority. You set boundaries without hesitation. You speak your truth without fear. And slowly, the world begins to recognize a woman who will no longer compromise, who will no longer settle, and who will no longer let softness dictate her life. Strength is not something you are given. It is something you discover within yourself, waiting patiently for you to claim it. Every woman has a well of power buried deep inside her, but it is often ignored, overlooked, or hidden beneath fear, doubt, and the habit of soft living. True strength does not come from controlling others or showing aggression. It comes from knowing who you are, standing firm in your values, and refusing to let life push you around. Inner strength begins with belief in your worth, your abilities, and your right to live life on your own terms. When you believe in yourself, your mind and body follow. You start making decisions with clarity rather than hesitation. You face challenges with courage rather than fear. You act with purpose rather than react to circumstances. Strength is not loud or flashy. It is steady, unshakable, and undeniable. People may try to test it, but once they feel it, they recognize that you are no longer someone to be underestimated. The process of building strength is simple, but not easy. It starts with small decisions every day, saying no when something does not serve you, standing firm when others try to sway you, facing challenges that once intimidated you. Each act of courage builds on the last, and gradually, you create a momentum that cannot be stopped. Psychology shows that repeated courageous actions rewire the brain, making you naturally resilient and confident. The more you act from strength, the stronger you become. Strength also comes from self-awareness. Understanding your emotions, your triggers, and your patterns allows you to act with intention rather than reaction. Softness often comes from reacting to fear, guilt, or the expectations of others. Strength comes from recognizing those influences and choosing your response consciously. It is about taking control of your inner world before trying to control the outer world. The most powerful women are not those who avoid struggle. They are those who embrace it, knowing that every challenge faced, every boundary set, and every fear confronted strengthens their character. Your inner strength is a force that no one can take from you. Once you claim it, you walk through life with confidence, clarity, and courage. The woman who awakens her inner strength no longer waits for permission, validation, or approval. She knows that her power is hers, and she refuses to let anything or anyone diminish it. Your journey to strength begins the moment you choose to see it within yourself. It is there, waiting for you to stand tall and claim it. Seeking approval is one of the quietest traps a woman can fall into. It feels harmless at first, smiling to make others happy, agreeing to avoid conflict, or staying quiet to avoid judgment. But every time you seek approval, you give away a piece of your power. You allow someone else's opinion to dictate your actions, your emotions, and even your self-worth. Softness grows when approval becomes your compass, and confidence shrinks when validation becomes your fuel. The world will always have opinions. People will always judge, and no matter how perfect your actions are, someone will find a reason to criticize. If your value depends on what others think, you will never feel secure, strong, or confident. True power comes from trusting yourself more than anyone else. It comes from making choices based on your values, your goals, and your vision, not on how others might respond. When you stop seeking approval, you stop giving away your authority over your life. Approval seeking also keeps you in a cycle of fear and hesitation. You overthink every decision, you measure every word, you second guess every action. This constant mental drain erodes your confidence, leaving you soft, passive, and reactive. Psychology shows that when people rely on external validation, their sense of self becomes fragile. They live in a state of constant anxiety, fearing rejection or disapproval. The solution is simple but powerful. Shift your focus inward. Your validation must come from your own judgment, not from someone else's fleeting opinion. Saying no to approval is not arrogance. It is self-respect. It is the recognition that your life, your time, and your energy are precious. When you start trusting your instincts and honoring your decisions, people around you begin to notice. Your confidence becomes magnetic, your presence becomes undeniable, and you stop shrinking to fit into the comfort zones of others. Every woman who steps away from the need for approval steps into freedom. She speaks her mind, she pursues her goals, she acts with purpose, and she does not apologize for it. When you choose to stop seeking approval, you reclaim your power, your clarity, and your strength. You create a life where respect is earned by presence, action, and integrity, not by pleasing everyone around you. The moment you stop asking for permission to exist boldly, you start living on your own terms. You realize that approval is temporary, but strength, confidence, and self-respect are forever. This is the path to becoming unstoppable. Fear is the silent force that keeps softness alive. It whispers that you are not enough, that failure will define you, or that standing up will bring pain. It convinces you to shrink, to stay quiet, and to accept less than you deserve. Every time you let fear control you, it tightens its grip, and the world sees a version of you that is smaller than your potential. But fear is not your enemy. It is a signal. It points to the areas where growth and strength are waiting to be claimed. Facing fear is not about reckless courage. It is about choosing to act even when your heart races, even when doubt clouds your mind, and even when the unknown looms large. Psychology shows that the brain cannot distinguish between imagined fear and real danger, but taking action rewires the mind. Each time you face fear, your confidence grows, your resilience strengthens, and your control over your life increases. The softer you allow yourself to remain, the louder fear becomes. The stronger you become, the weaker fear grows. Fear keeps you compliant. It keeps you agreeing when you want to say no. It keeps you settling when you want more. It keeps you soft when you are meant to be powerful. But the moment you decide to confront it, fear loses its power. The first step is awareness, recognizing what exactly you are afraid of and why. The second step is action, taking deliberate steps, no matter how small, toward what scares you. Each step chips away at the chains fear has built around your life. True strength is forged in these moments of confrontation. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting in spite of it. Every woman who faces her fears becomes unstoppable because she no longer allows imagined limits to define her reality. Every challenge met builds mental toughness, self-belief, and a quiet confidence that radiates in everything she does. The woman who stops running from fear steps into power. She speaks her truth, pursues her dreams, and sets boundaries without hesitation. Her presence commands respect, not because she demands it, but because fear no longer controls her choices. The moment you choose to face your fears, you take back your life, your power, and your strength. Fear becomes a tool, not a cage, and every step you take through fear brings you closer to the unstoppable, confident, and empowered woman you were always meant to be. Softness often hides behind excuses. It convinces you that life is happening *to you, that circumstances, people, or luck control your destiny. But the truth is, no one else holds the power over your life, you do. Every moment you blame others or wait for someone to save you, you give away your strength. Excuses are the easy path, but they lead only to regret. Responsibility is the bridge to freedom, confidence, and unshakable power. Taking responsibility begins with honesty. Admit where you have allowed softness, fear, or indecision to rule your actions. Accept the truth that your life is shaped by the choices you make, not by circumstances beyond your control. This step is not about guilt. It is about reclaiming your power. Once you own your actions, you reclaim the control that fear and habit have stolen from you. Responsibility also means refusing to wait. Waiting for the perfect moment, the right person, or the ideal conditions keeps you soft and passive. Life does not wait, and strength does not emerge from hesitation. Every bold action you take, no matter how small, strengthens your confidence and shifts your reality. Psychology proves that proactive behavior rewires the brain, creating habits of courage, self-reliance, and resilience. Owning your life also requires accountability. You cannot control what others do, but you can control how you respond. Every choice to step up, to act decisively, and to honor your values builds a life defined by strength rather than softness. Every decision you make shapes the woman you are becoming. Softness thrives in indecision. Strength thrives in action. The women who take responsibility do not wait for validation, permission, or rescue. They define their own path, set their own standards, and push forward even when obstacles appear. Taking responsibility is liberating because it transforms fear and doubt into fuel. It shifts your focus from what is happening *to you to what you can do right now to shape your life. When you claim responsibility, you stop being a passive observer of your own life. You step into authority over your actions, choices, and destiny. The woman who takes full responsibility is unstoppable. She no longer allows softness, excuses, or fear to dictate her path. She becomes the master of her life, the creator of her reality, and the architect of her strength. Every step she takes is deliberate, purposeful, and fueled by the power she refuses to give away again. Strength begins in the mind. Your thoughts shape your emotions, your decisions, and ultimately, your life. Softness thrives when the mind is weak, easily swayed by doubt, fear, and negative opinions. Mental toughness is the foundation of confidence and resilience. It is the ability to remain calm, focused, and determined no matter the challenge. The stronger your mind, the less power fear and uncertainty have over you. Building mental toughness starts with discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It is keeping your promises to yourself, following through on your goals, and refusing to let distractions or excuses take control. Every small act of discipline strengthens your mind and reinforces your self-belief. The brain begins to trust you, knowing that you are committed, reliable, and capable. Another key aspect of mental toughness is embracing discomfort. Life does not reward comfort. Growth, confidence, and power come from pushing past the easy path and confronting challenges head on. When you willingly face difficult situations, when you endure discomfort with focus and determination, you train your mind to stay strong in any circumstance. This is how ordinary women become unstoppable. Mental toughness also requires control over your emotions. Softness often emerges when emotions dictate actions, anger, fear, sadness, or anxiety taking the wheel. A tough mind observes emotions without being controlled by them. It chooses responses consciously rather than reacting impulsively. This balance creates clarity, sharp decision making, and unshakable confidence. Visualization and mindset practices further strengthen the mind. Imagining yourself succeeding, overcoming challenges, and acting with courage creates neural pathways that make these outcomes more likely. The more you train your mind to see strength, the more your actions will align with it. A woman with mental toughness does not crumble under pressure. She remains steady, focused, and resilient, even when the world pushes against her. Her confidence grows because it is built on the foundation of her mind, not on fleeting approval or external circumstances. When you cultivate mental toughness, softness loses its grip. You gain clarity, control, and the unwavering strength needed to shape the life you deserve. Emotions are a natural part of being human, but letting them control your actions keeps softness alive. When fear, anger, sadness, or anxiety dictate your decisions, you lose clarity and power. Softness grows when emotions rule your life instead of guiding it. The woman who is strong learns to feel deeply without letting her emotions define her choices. She responds with awareness, not reaction. Being overly emotional often leads to hesitation. You apologize when you should stand firm. You hold back when you should speak up. You compromise your goals to avoid conflict. Each time emotions take control, confidence diminishes. Psychology shows that emotional regulation strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision making, focus, and self-control. Training your mind to respond rather than react rewires your brain for strength, resilience, and clarity. Learning to control your emotions does not mean suppressing them. It means observing them, understanding their source, and choosing how to act. Softness fades when you stop letting emotions decide your boundaries, your voice, and your actions. Strength emerges when you act intentionally, even when emotions are intense. You maintain composure, think clearly, and take decisive steps toward your goals, no matter the chaos around you. Self-awareness is key. Recognize which emotions trigger softness in your behavior. Is it fear that stops you from asserting yourself? Anger that pushes you to react impulsively? Sadness that makes you withdraw? Identifying these patterns allows you to respond consciously. Every time you act intentionally rather than react emotionally, your confidence grows and the habit of softness weakens. The woman who masters her emotions commands respect. Her presence is steady, her decisions deliberate, and her energy magnetic. People notice when someone is calm under pressure, focused under stress, and unshaken by opinion or judgment. Emotional control is not weakness, it is power. It creates a mind that is clear, a heart that is strong, and a life that cannot be swayed by every circumstance. To stop being soft, begin observing your emotional patterns today. Feel deeply, yes, but act deliberately. Let emotions guide you, not govern you. The stronger your control over your inner world, the stronger you become in the outer world. Your confidence, clarity, and strength are built when you choose action over reaction, courage over fear, and power over softness. Your body reflects your mind. A soft posture, slouched shoulders, or weak presence can reinforce feelings of insecurity and doubt. Physical strength is not just about appearance. It is a reflection of confidence, discipline, and inner power. The woman who moves with strength sends a message to the world and to herself. She is capable, resilient, and unshakable. Exercise and movement are powerful tools to strengthen both body and mind. Training your body requires consistency, discipline, and effort, qualities that naturally build mental toughness. Every push, every step, every lift reinforces the belief that you are capable of handling challenges. Your mind begins to trust your body, and your body begins to embody the strength your mind commands. Posture and presence are equally important. Standing tall, walking with purpose, and holding your head high communicates strength before you even speak. Psychology shows that body language affects brain chemistry. Strong postures increase confidence hormones and reduce stress. Softness diminishes when you carry yourself with intention. Strength radiates outward from how you move, not just what you say. Physical strength also builds resilience. The discipline required to challenge your body teaches patience, persistence, and grit. When you face discomfort in training, you learn to push through it rather than avoid it. This same principle applies to life. The stronger your body, the stronger your mind, and the better equipped you are to face obstacles without hesitation. The combination of mental and physical strength creates an unstoppable presence. Confidence grows naturally when you know you can rely on your body and mind to support your actions. You no longer shrink in the face of challenges or allow fear to dictate your choices. Every act of physical strength reinforces mental power, creating a feedback loop of courage